The school run is upon us already, and it's hitting me now. You know, my desire to build a home, it all comes down to wanting these little kids to have a secure base, to build memories.
That way or that way?
Oh, like, you know, when you're in the gym so you can like check your form, I've got an open shoelace. Do you want to kind of go through our journey to here? Our first time actually living alone since we got together. She's back with a lemsip because my son has started preschool. Don't know why I never listened, but it turns out it's true what they say. Your kid starts school and you just... I've had every symptom bar a fever in the last week. I've been in a heap, but yeah, I'm back. I'm here with breakfast and I'm just going to get ready and have a quick catch up before we dive into some of the massive changes that have been happening. But yeah, I'm here with my brekkie. I've got a big bowl of yogurt and like these are orange flavoured dark chocolate almonds and strawberries. I kind of took a bit of time away from here. You might notice I've not uploaded in like 3 weeks or something, which is a long time for me. After both my babies, there was only like a month between uploads, so it's like rare for me to go that long and I feel weird. I've tried to film this intro twice. Like when you have kids, you don't feel like you're having time off if you do have time off from work because you're doing your other job of parenting. But I have to say it's been like so nice to just focus on mammy stuff, being like completely present with my kids and focusing on house stuff and all. And yeah, I've still been sharing like little snippets over on Instagram, so do follow me on there. I put up a post this morning that there was so much love on that post, and it's one of the topics of this vlog, which is intergenerational living. My dad and I have made an enormous dream come true. He now has a whole arse house attached onto our bungalow. He'll 100% be in there settled this side of Christmas. Like it's just such a huge deal. I was starting to worry during the pandemic it would never happen, but we'll get into that loads later. Like my dad and I are going to have a chat with you. But yeah, I've been keeping up with you on Instagram and like just doing lots of like little things. I do lots of things that aren't like YouTube videos, but are kind of part, I suppose, of my work. Like, for example, yesterday I was a guest on the Baby Tribe podcast. It's hosted by 2 lactation consultants. You know I'm a big like breastfeeding advocate and stuff, but yeah, Afif, he is a neonatologist in the hospital where I had my second baby. He's also like a professor of pediatrics. It was such a pleasure talking to him, but he gave me this and I'm absolutely obsessed with it. He did this. I know a lot of people probably wouldn't be wanting a whole ass boob on their wall in their home, but I do. I very much do. Yeah, he's got like a boy and a girl who are like 12 and 15. Mine are 8 months and nearly 3. So like chatting to him was getting a glimpse kind of into our future, and it was so lovely. Another example of like the things I do when I'm not like doing YouTube and stuff. There's a really bookish TV show I'm a guest on sometimes called What's the Story? It's on Virgin Media and I'm reviewing a new book by Oprah. I was reading that all morning because today Thomas is off work. The 2 kids are napping. I have the baby monitor here, but yeah, I got lots of reading time today, which was rare. I'm going to justify it by being like, it's for work. But I just wanted to make a really homey vlog. Feels very much like we're in a new stage of the renovation process, and like just, I don't know, it feels like we've entered this new chapter of family life. And with the house, now that my dad is going to be moving out, because like I said, his house is ready, it'll be our first time actually living alone since we got together like 6.5, 7 years ago. We had a brief stint living in Spain by ourselves when my husband was studying, but even then we were on like a campus, so realistically like there was students on either side of each wall. A lot of you probably remember that time. Anyway, it's time, it's needed, the space, having space as a couple. My dad needs his own space, and it has kind of been important for us to live with family, I suppose, to make this big ass dream happen. But we'll get to that. I'm just going to sort out my face. I'm probably not going to film this whole process, but I do want to share with you that the Sculpted by Amy brand, the team very kindly sent me some bits because they know that I love the Second Skin Dewy Finish foundation. They topped me up with that. This is the shade Fair, but they also sent stuff I'd never used before, and some of this stuff is like wait until you see my face now in a minute. I've done my skincare, but like this is proper Oh, my phone's ringing. This is proper like beautiful bride skin makeup. But tell me, how are you? How are you getting on? Even though I've got like acne scars and stuff, I love those products. I'll show you what I used. The Pearl Beauty Base, Second Skin. I did the Charlotte Tilbury Radiant Concealer, and then I used the light to medium cream bronze, and one of my favourite things that was sent, it's the Dusty Rose Cream Blush. My Flexitarian Colourpop Highlight, which I've been using for a million years. White eyeliner pencil. Benefit Brow Pomade. Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom Cake Powder, and a bit of that kind of goldy eyeshadow. This has become a storage room while our shed is being built, which we'll get to. But look at this little guy. Little birdie, he's hiding from the rain outside. He was just in this tree. We've got all the windows open. But actually, oh, Hoover. That reminds me. I've got my little love strapped onto my big love to keep her quiet. Yeah, but so I saw that Hoover there and just reminded me, the old Henry Hoover we've been using is my dad's. And obviously he's moving out soon into his own house next door. And
Henry's going with him.
Henry's going with him. Henry's leaving us, guys. However, Henry has been replaced by a much sexier model.
Henri.
Henri?
It's not Henry, it's the new Henry.
Oh, the French
Henri.
for Henry. Thought you were broken for a second. Karcher sent us a cordless vacuum. We featured Karcher in one of the first house to home vlogs. The power washer that my dad bought us as a moving in present. Yeah, maybe that's how they found me. But yeah, thanks Karcher, because this is amazing. It's Thomas's new favourite toy. It has a quiet mode, which is brilliant for like if you've kids napping, but it's like a one-click emptying.
Look at me, I'm Millennium Dad.
Oh.
I need the boost mode.
Millennium Daddy saves the day. Millennium Dad, hey, 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 hey. Millennium Dad, look at him go. Millennium Dad, running the show, cleaning and carrying the baby he is. Millennium Dad. Sell it to me in a sentence, go on.
There's no wires, so it's deadly, and it's got lights, which means it's future.
It's the future. Right, so I'm finally dressed at last, and I gave Peter Pan over there some lunch, some banana pancakes. So I sat with them and we watched a Julia Donaldson. We watched Stick Man on Amazon Prime. And Julia Donaldson, if you have a toddler, you need these books. All of his favourite books are Julia Donaldson books. The Paper Dolls. This is heartbreaking. The Smartest Giant in Town. Superworm. The Ugly Five. Room on the Broom. A Squash and a Squeeze. The Snail and the Whale. Tyrannosaurus Drip. One of my favourite parts of the day is reading him books in bed. And when my office isn't a storage room anymore, I was going to say that earlier, like the reason I was getting ready over at the table over there, my office currently is the main storage room as well as the conservatory while there's other reno stuff happening. My vision is to be sitting at my lovely desk in my newly renovated office when it's cleared out again and writing a children's book, and I really want to finish writing a children's book before Christmas. Writing children's books, at least one even, is something Thomas and I have wanted to do together since, I don't know, for years. One very cute little update actually. See this? Don't know if this is actually called an orange tree, but that's what we're calling it. But see these? That teeny little shoot is from seeds from one of the oranges on this. But see this one? That was a little tiny shoot when our daughter was born, and now look at it. Look at that. This is so cute. We actually still haven't made a couch decision for this room. When I asked yous about like colours of couches that you thought would go well with like the sage green walls and stuff, a lot of you actually suggested like other greens. Forest green, and there were suggestions of like tan and burnt orange. We've got these absolutely gorgeous burnt orange curtains. Like they're really thick. They're like a velvet with with blackout for our bedroom. So I'm very into that idea. Ignore me, I'm just picking up like baby socks and baby toys. I'm not too sure where to look for couches because I want to sit on a couch like multiple times before we invest in it, because I just feel like a couch is a big deal. It's like a mattress. It's somewhere you spend a fair bit of time. And ooh, a back massager from Love Honey. I'm gonna keep this aside. I would like a massage later. But yeah, if you have somewhere to suggest that sells couches, where like if you got your couch from somewhere and you love it, please let us know where. Mainly if it's in Ireland, like if there's a showroom or something in Dublin that we could go to for, you know, testing out. But I'm very into the idea of an emerald or like forest green couch for one of them, but we want to have 2 different couches of different colours and different styles, and then an armchair and possibly like our nice rocking chair, the breastfeeding rocking chair that I bought, and have them all kind of situated in and around like the fireplace, with the TV not the focal point, which I did talk about that in like our living room, the first installment of the living room renovation series. But you know what's getting me down so much is like we still haven't got art on all of the walls, and it just makes the house feel a little bit dead. Like I feel like photos, oh sorry,
What's going on in here?
hey guys, I feel like photos and art is important, but we've just not had time to pick things. What's that?
I have a little girl who wants to go sleep in this room.
Oh, she's been walking holding our hands and fingers since she was 7 months, and she's now 8 months. She's barely a baby anymore. She's getting so big. Yeah. I don't even know where to start.
This is it, we're halfway through decorating.
It's messy in here. There's lots of samples, but it is coming together. Like the bathroom tiles are in. Tiles of this absolutely gorgeous stone effect. They're very natural looking. Got lots of paint samples. Do you want to show them which colour you're thinking?
This one.
It's like a yellowy, mustardy, very old fashioned and cozy. My uncle sent this picture from some movie or show or something, but he really loved the look of the set and the yellow walls and stuff, so that was how that got suggested.
Mustard walls, not yellow.
Mustard. Look at this floor. So pretty. It's an engineered oak.
French oak.
So gorgeous. From National Tile, where we got our wood as well, but shade is absolutely gorgeous.
Rustic French oak.
If you have leftover cut-offs, can I have it for my walk-in wardrobe?
If there's enough, there might be enough left actually.
Yeah. Hi, baby. It's a porcelain
worktop.
It's so gorgeous.
To go with the shaker kitchen.
It's from Granite. They're currently called Granite Tops, but they're changing their business name. But they're like an Irish family business.
It's not shiny. I hate shiny.
He doesn't like
surfaces.
marble or anything.
Ripply surface, like stone.
We went to the showroom and they were like showing us how you can't scratch this. You can boil water on top of it, like it can be put over your induction hobs.
Induction hob underneath.
Underneath it, yeah. Look at him, he picked his own terracotta tiles.
That way or that way?
Oh,
I go for simple, which means
simple.
that way. I don't need brain to be wondering why is it that way.
But yeah, what do you feel like with this nearly done? Relief or just...
Of course, relief. So you need your own space as well. I'll be able to make noise and not wake you up. But we'll have to test. I'll have to put music on very loud to see what level you can hear inside.
Oh yeah. There's so many reasons why we decided to do this. Do you want to kind of go through like our journey to here?
You'd have to consider though, if I wasn't single or split up from divorced over 20 years. So if I was still married to someone, would I have done it? I don't know. As it is, it was an ideal
made sense,
sell.
yeah. So my dad and my mum.
So when I'm dying, I just can bang on your window, and you won't have far to come to find me dead in my bed.
Don't listen to him, baby. Don't listen to him.
Or far to bring me to Switzerland for my injection.
My parents divorced when I was like 6, and you didn't remarry, so you did buy somewhere.
I bought a place in Drogheda. But all my mates obviously were all down in Skerries, so
and family.
And family. So I never liked it.
Oh, baby, come here. I am here. I'm just.
the market was gone mad over here, the boom. So I was renting when I split up from your mother because she was still in that family house. And the market went mad, so
You
we
bought at the top
an apart-
of the market.
Well, didn't know it was the top at the time, but I bought when things were very expensive that I didn't know that was the top end. And they were due to come down again. But it was in a place I didn't like. I never liked it, even though we were there for a good few years. He's a good boy. Hello. The house, or the apartment we got was at the top of the market, but I bought that instead of paying rent.
Yeah.
But I fucking hate it. But we lived there for a good few years. Ultimately, that place had to be sold. So we ended up, do you remember we were renting that place in Skerries, and then you got with Thomas and got married and all that.
Yeah.
So then I was looking at just spending nearly 2,000 a month for rent with one wage. So that was never going to work out.
We had to stop recording out there because baby needed dinner. So yeah, just like the cost of rent in Dublin is insane, and I'm sure a lot of you know that and are going through that. And you know, Dad wants to retire as early as he can, as soon as he can.
Next year.
And you know, we weighed up lots of different options of situations, because the original plan for years when I wasn't with Thomas was that me and you and my brother, like, we were all going to buy a house together, like a kind of a family house.
That's because you were sad gits without partners.
We were. Like, I used to have chats with you where I was trying to convince myself I didn't want kids because I just didn't think it would happen. And
I pretended to believe you. So me,
The
you and Andrew were
previous
going to buy
time-
a house, and there'd be 3 sad gits in one house.
yes, so it was going to be the 3 sad gits and
In a nice house.
in a nice house. And then my brother got into a relationship, I got into a relationship. Thomas didn't have his own house, you know. We just figured it would be more cost efficient for us to like rent together. And that happened for years. Like, myself, my dad and my brother were all renting various houses, and a lot of you were following during that journey. Like, I kind of started my channel while we were renting, and that worked for us at that, you know, stage of
grand.
life and stuff. But I think then as well, what happened was during the pandemic, I moved in with Thomas's family because we had just gotten married, and then there was the lockdowns, and I obviously like wanted to be sharing a bed with my husband and stuff. But then you were living alone, and I think you got used to your own space, and like because we hadn't lived together in a couple of years as well.
Yeah.
When
I know it was fine where I lived. It was just the rent wouldn't be, while I could afford it. I couldn't save while doing it. $2,000 a month nearly.
Yeah.
Is way too much to be
it's
paying
too
for one person.
For one person, yeah. If
So
you're splitting
ultimately, I
that,
was going to have to do something.
Yeah.
Retire and go to Portugal.
that's the other thing to consider then as well, because of Dad's health. He wants to retire early, so at has to retire early at 60. Like, you're just not able for your job anymore. And in Ireland, the old age pension doesn't kick in until you're 66. So then,
So I have
you
to
know,
bridge the gap.
you have to bridge that gap. Yeah, and even if you have a private pension, it's still, you're looking at like, would that even cover rent in Dublin?
Oh no,
No.
the private pension wouldn't. No, I mean the idea to come out early and leave early, and the sickness developed. This particular thing developed after we had decided to do what we're doing here.
Yes.
I only got diagnosed 2 years ago with this.
Yeah. For those of
So-
you who don't know, my dad has interstitial lung disease.
Fibrosis in your lungs.
Multiple types of lung disease.
I'm fucked.
He's fucked. And heart disease and things. So like, yeah, well, like, and for
But
me,
I still go to the pub.
still goes to he's living his life, he's having his Chineses. But you know, for me, it's what's really important is for you to be comfortable in those years where, you know, life can get a bit where you need a bit more help with things, and you know, your body starts to slow down and stuff. And I just want you to be comfortable, and I want you to have people around. Like, if you weren't living beside me, we'd both worry, I think.
Oh, it was
about
a
that.
solution that suited both of us, I think. It
Suits-
also, you know, it's good for all families to be close anyway.
It is. And intergenerational living is, there's so many lovely parts of that. Like, it's been so amazing for the kids, I think, having you around, and Thomas's family being very involved with my son, because we lived with them when he was a baby. And I just think, like, they have such close relationships with you.
Well, he
for
doesn't have
something
far. When he runs away, he doesn't have far to go.
loves his
I'm lucky
granddads.
that selling the apartment could fund building that. So if I hadn't had that...
Yeah, you had that saved.
If I hadn't decided to buy something all them years ago and I got divorced, then I'd probably be screwed.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't be able to fund building something.
And you didn't even buy that yourself. Like, you bought that with a sibling.
I bought that with a sibling as a safety net for somewhere to live, because the property market was gone through the roof.
Yeah.
So I made enough out of it to build this plus some of my own money.
But these are things I think a lot of people don't necessarily think much about. Like, would you say that...
Years ago, I wouldn't have thought of it at all.
But since you were 30, would you say, like, you've blinked and you're 60 kind of a situation?
Since I was fucking 19, Jesus.
Yeah. And it like comes on you, and I think it's important to make plans and plan for the future. And like, we kind of had a loose plan, like we wanted to end up living together and stuff, and the whole idea of wanting to buy enough land for Dad to build his own place only formed a few years ago. And for me it was just really important, because I think as well, like, after your heart attack, like, that just really affected me badly, and I was really nervous after it, like leaving you and stuff, and I was always worrying that if I got a call it was going to be about you having another one.
8 years ago now.
I know, and your dad had a few heart attacks, but the thing is, when you had your one, they put stents in, so like,
well,
you were almost
blessed.
You were very lucky that
I was near a hospital when it happened.
Yeah.
Where I work.
But that was like awful.
But circumstances came together where you were able to get a house that had space and outbuildings. We were able to get planning permission. That was an important part of it.
The planning was a big part of it.
So
I don't think you guys know about this.
I had to give my full health history to prove that it's being built for me and not for used to rent and make money off.
Yeah, you had to like, oh, that was awful. Felt like you were trying to justify. But basically,
and that wasn't cheap either.
No. So there were so many stages and layers to this. Firstly, saving for a deposit for a very long time, like years. I had to build up a really big, good deposit. Secondly, my husband and I had to get a mortgage together, because I wouldn't have been able to get a good enough mortgage by myself. No one can. And even during the years, like, when I'd started earning really well, I still wouldn't have been able to buy what we needed. We would have needed somewhere with space to build what we call a granny flat. Also
Grandfather dance studio.
Grandfather dance. It's going to be called the granddad pad or the granddad wing. We've not yet decided. But also needed to have a partner who was, you know, on board with this. I know a lot of people whose partners would be like, absolutely over my dead body.
And that sometimes
is your parents
that
living
sometimes there's valid
next
reasons
door.
not to do it.
I know, but I think it's just like, me and you are like friends. Like, you're like my best friend.
We were more buddies then.
Yeah, with the planning, that was a whole process involved in that, in like the application. But then, to get the planning for Dad's house, we had to get retention planning
For buildings that were here that never had planning permission in the first place.
Yeah, there was never planning permission on this house for the conservatory, utility room, the shed, and the garage. So that was thousands and thousands of euro that we all split the cost of. And that was before we started this whole renovation. Like, renovating is very expensive anyway, far more so than I expected it to be. For me, it's going to give me peace of mind that, like, yeah, Dad's being looked after if, you know, he's not well or anything like that, because it'll be me looking after him. It's, you know, and I'll be able to kind of fit that in very easily, because it'll be where I live. So I know people who are carers for their elderly parents, and it's a lot, you know, having to go from town to town.
I don't plan
fitting that in.
I don't plan on having to be cared for.
You will be cared for.
I don't plan
everyone has to be cared for when they get older.
I don't plan on being in a condition where I need care like that.
Why? Because you want to.
Because I would fucking do myself in. Or have someone do me in.
He said that to me. He was like, bring me to a field and shoot me.
That's it. I'm fucking out here.
You're not going to need that. But I just mean, like, you know, getting your food shopping in for you and just things like that. Like, it's just stuff that everybody does for their older parents and needs to do. Like, you know, and it'll be hard for me to care for my mom because she lives in Roscommon, and that worries me all the time. So, like, my hope is that they will be able to get a smaller house in Dublin.
If I'm babysitting for you any night, I don't have to plan to stay over because I'm next door anyway.
I can just send him in to you. I've agreed with Dad to get for his 60th birthday present a PlayStation 5. because he just wants to retire and play PlayStation. Didn't we worry it was going to be a bit small, but then when it all came together, it's like
It's
a lot more spacious
quite
than
adequate for one, and
Yeah.
then there's a massive upstairs room that can be converted into a finished room.
I found a really cool spiral staircase online, and it was like $1,000 or something. I thought they were going to be thousands, so like that's kind of maybe a next year plan.
It's nearly like 200 square foot room up in the attic. That's
Yeah, that'll be really
windows
cool.
are in, the floor is in. It just needs to be walled off. It's been in, the roof is insulated and everything, so it won't take much to finish it.
Just
That'd be
having that
ideal
for
having
guests.
people stay over. Yeah.
Yeah. Chuffed that that's all happened. I remember that we were saying this last year, like, oh yeah, we'll do that really soon. Did you have a feeling like it might not happen? For ages,
Yeah,
I
always
was
have
like,
that,
I was
yeah.
like, is this actually going to fit where we think it is? Because when we were looking at this bungalow, Thomas was like, oh, we could just knock that shed and the garage easily and fit in a house for your dad. And I was like, really?
You're just extra lucky that you have a big garden.
Yeah, but
But
I
the big
would
garden
say
isn't
we
necessary
didn't-
for what we did.
we didn't originally intend on moving to this town, though. That was like a big factor. We wanted to have somewhere with.
Well, that was a decision you just had to make to
Yeah.
where areas we're going to live.
We wanted to live, where all of Dad's friends and family and where my friends and family, Tom's friends and family is in a town over. And
Only 7 kilometres away.
but this is what I'm saying. The difference in price was insane, and what you get for that money. And it wasn't just like having a house for you and space for a house for you. It was like we wanted garden space for the kids because we'd be out there all the time. Like the kids love being outside, and
Well, scary
it's
itself
deadly.
is like overinflated house prices.
Yeah, it's
a particular
ridiculous.
town that has drawn interest from a lot of people with money. So
Speaking of the garden, actually, we might not get to film that today. It's like raining. It's awful out. We might film the garden section tomorrow. Let's see. Da. Do you want to
Yeah.
go to sleep? No! She shook her head. Okay, that's enough for now anyway. It's the next day because yesterday was horrible weather and it was really wet and soggy. But we've so much to talk about out here. The view, the new view. So the Lelandes that were there, which aren't native Irish trees, they were knocked to make space. And oh boy, did they make space. Like we gained so much garden space. Thomas had to order an ordnance survey map so we could see where our boundary line was. And the new view is so much better, and there's so much more light in our house now. Thankfully, the owner of this field was cool with us gaining access. So one of Thomas and his dad's mates has a tractor, and we got permission to enter the field through the back way so the hedges could be removed. And we have, however, been left with a lot of muck, just mounds of dirt that we can't really afford yet to have removed because it would cost thousands and thousands, and it's just not that important yet. The garden is very much going to be a huge upcoming project because there's so many things now that we have way more space for. The entire shed fit in where those hedges were. This man found a plant pot that he fell in love with, and you might remember it. This is basically what we're in the process of building.
A shebeen is a little Irish pub.
A lot of Irish cottages are like, little teeny white with red roofs and little red windows. What I've recently learned are called sash windows, and it's my new favourite thing to say. I keep saying, I want sash windows.
But there's different types of sash windows.
Well, I want
There's
little
a sliding
cottage
sash and
windows.
a top open sash.
We don't know if we can afford them, but that's the plan. So this is going to replace the shed that had to be knocked for Dad's house, but it's also going to serve us as a little home gym. And we're going to kind of have all of Thomas's weights stuff in half of it because it's still occupying your mum's loft and she's
Yeah.
sick of it. She wants
Then
it
we'll
out.
have to come up with a new reason not to exercise.
Thomas can, go and take refuge and listen to your loud metal music that you like.
Yeah, angry music.
The two of us really miss lifting weights, and it'd just be nice to not have children climbing all over me while I'm trying to do my workouts. We feel so lucky that we're getting to do this. It's Thomas and his dad are putting in the hard manual labour. I can contribute with a paintbrush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Their time is coming.
Yeah. The view of this from the kitchen window is so nice. I'll be able to see it as well out of my office window. It's quite a substantial size for a shed. Like from here it looks quite small because we're far away. But like I'll just go over close to it so you can see. This is me next to it. We managed to save this little tree, which I would call a plant. Thomas would call a tree. The garden, you can probably notice, has kind of gone to shit, and that's not putting it lightly. Like if I just show you a bit of the reality, it's messy. This home reno stuff is so much messier than a lot of people make it look online. Like I'm so grateful for a few content creators who do talk about like the downsides, the hard sides, the messy sides, the expensive sides. But I'd say still like the majority of home reno content online is very aesthetic and pretty, and it just looks all very relaxing and easy and exciting. I literally just did a tilt and showed the state of it because I don't even know what half this stuff is. It has been so much worse than this. We've had multiple skips. I think this corner is kind of going to be where we be doing our future workouts. And I was telling Thomas I want to put a big mirror on this wall, like, you know, when you're in the gym so you can like check your form. I've got an open shoelace. I'm not a fitness right now, okay, sorry, but look, you know, doing all your bits and your, you know, woo. Yeah, and we can have big mirror. And the gym Thomas and I used to go to was called Black Rose Gym in Skerries, and we loved it so much. And my suggestion was to call this White Rose Cottage. And we're gonna, and I wanna.
It's an homage.
An homage to Black Rose Gym. I want to message the owner of Black Rose Gym and just tell him how sad we are that we never get time to go because we've got two small little kids and it's a whole town away and we just can't fit it in. Yeah, then over that side where the double doors will be, you know, all the lawnmower and all of the crap that's currently in the conservatory. I think that's it for this vlog because it's gonna be quite long and I could just make videos 2 hours long, really. There's so many things I always want to share, but we have a family visit and we have to collect our son from preschool. We also have a load of paint samples that were gifted by Little Green to paint the exterior of the house. We have to test them out, and I might make a reel on Instagram testing them out. So if you want to keep up with me between my YouTube videos, please follow me on Instagram. As a new mother, it's easier for me to post short form content, so I'm a lot more active on Instagram than I am on YouTube at the moment. It won't be 3 weeks between this and my next video. I'm promising that now. And thanks for watching. And if you like my videos, please actually like them, like with the physical like button, because it helps with the new YouTube algorithm, which massively relies on engagement, like comments and likes, and how quickly you click a video after you see it and all that malarkey. Anything to say, husband dearest?
Fair winds.
Fair winds. It's a new dawn, it's a new day. There's Bilbo, he's feeling good.